Hi guys, welcome to Go to Mimi. Today I'm gonna be talking about the responsibilities of a Scrum Master or Scrum Master responsibilities. Thank you once more for watching. For those of you who have already subscribed, mwah, mwah. Remember every time I blow a kiss is for you, my subscribe um um my subscribers. Yes, welcome to the family. And to those of you who are yet to subscribe, don't let anything hold you back from hitting the subscription button. Hit the subscription button and subscribe. Okay. I plan to do this once every week. Just come on and talk about Scrum to us. Okay. So basically, welcome everyone. Welcome new lovers of Mimi. Welcome all lovers of Mimi, and please do not forget to like, comment, and share, and tell me what you want me to talk about next time. You can ask questions with regards to Scrum in the comment section, and I will be happy to answer them if I can. And if I cannot answer them, trust that I would definitely look for answers um to your questions and kind of give you a, a feedback. Okay. So today we are answering the question, what does a Scrum Master really do? Yes. What are the responsibilities of a Scrum Master as defined in the Scrum Guide? What does a Scrum Master really do? Maybe above and beyond, what does a Scrum Master really do? Okay, phone. I think I should put you on vibration. Yes, you are going on vibration right now. So, the Scrum Master is accountable for establishing Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. That is the first thing that we need to note, that the Scrum Master's first number one role or number one priority is to um, define Scrum as explained in or practice Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. He or she is accountable for um, establishing Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. Okay, and they do this by helping everyone to understand the Scrum theory and practice both with the Scrum team and the organization. The Scrum team, who are the immediate members of the Scrum team? Remember, we are just chatting here. I'm just pouring out my own understanding to you, okay, as to what the Scrum Master does. Okay, so who are the Scrum team? Because he or she is doing this for the Scrum team and the organization. The Scrum team is made up of the product owner, the developers, and the Scrum Master. And you can only have one product owner on the team, one Scrum Master on the team, and you can have as many developers as the number is acceptable based on the Scrum guide, right? We all know what that number is. Is once it starts getting over 9, I think that the team needs to split up and have um a new team, okay, can develop or make or create a new team, just so that the team is not overcrowded, people are not speaking over each other, and there is that bond, and there is that transparency, and the team is not too large to that is unable to be managed, right? So today, like I said, the Scrum Master's responsibilities are work i- works together with teams, right? They perform this responsibility with the team and the organization. So the Scrum Master is accountable for the Scrum team's effectiveness, right? The first thing is they want to make sure that the Scrum guide is being practiced or is being followed, right? Or Scrum is being practiced as defined by the Scrum guide in the team where they are working. That is the first thing that they want to do. Okay, it's not being pompous. Okay, and then they do this by establishing the Scrum team to improve its practices within the Scrum framework, right? Within the Scrum framework. And now Scrum Masters are true leaders who serve the Scrum team and the leading or the larger organization. Yes, they serve the Scrum team and the larger organization. The Scrum team, you serve your product owner. As a Scrum Master, you have to serve your product owner. As a Scrum Master, you have to serve your team, your entire team. You have to serve your organization. Okay, and we will break that down. Now let's talk about how a Scrum Master, what ways that a Scrum Master can help. In what ways can a Scrum Master serve um, in the team in general? The first would be coaching the team members in self-maintenance and cross-functionality, right? The Scrum Master want to coach the team. You are a coach. You are like a cheerleader. You're like a servant leader. You're a facilitator. We already know that these are skills that a Scrum Master is supposed to develop or is supposed to have. When you are coaching the team, what does a coach do? A coach says jump. It's time for you to jump. You jump. A coach says you can just basically look at a coach that coaches a soccer game, right? What they do is they stand there like they're just looking, but they're actually watching the dynamics of the game, and that is what a scrum master does. You watch the team perform their tasks and responsibilities the way they are supposed to, keeping in mind that they are following the Scrum guide. They are actually practicing Scrum the way it should be practiced. And we have to keep in mind that Scrum is a mindset, right? It's a framework, and then again, it's a mindset on its own. That will be a topic of another day where I'll try to differentiate that or explain more on that. Let me go ahead and give myself a thumbs up right here. Okay. It's okay. So, helping the next thing would be helping the Scrum team focus on creating high value increment that meets the definition of done. Yes, you help the team by staying focused, right? Let's say, for example, let me go back to that coaching, how a Scrum Master can coach the team to members of the team to self manage and cross functional, right? um and to be cross functional. You can coach the team by telling them what to do, by identifying impediments, these or bugs. These are all ways that a scrum master can coach a team. You can have one-on-one meetings with your team members to teach them what scrum is. Maybe somebody is not attending the retrospective or does not find the retrospective to be appealing or helpful or useful, whatever the term is. It's your place as a scrum master to schedule a one-on-one session with them to explain to them what a retrospective is all about. Let's say you have that stakeholder who would not sit down to or who would not participate during a retrospective but would always give complaints. For example, will always give complaints. It is your place as a scrum master to reach out to that stakeholder and say, or that client, and say, hey, we do have a time for demo where it will be good for you to come and let us know what you think about let us know what you think about this project. Someone is asking for the link to my YouTube channel. Sorry, give me a second. Let me just send it to them so that they will stop asking. um Okay, I think that's it. I gave them the link. Not really the link, but I just sent them the name so that they can go there and watch by themselves and try to search me in the search box because it's gonna take forever if I want to send them the link. Sorry for this distraction, but um these things can happen even when you're leading meetings. Somebody can be struggling as a scrum master, somebody can be struggling to log in and they're unable to, and they send you a text to notify you that they're unable to log in. What would you do? Are you going to just leave them hanging there because you're having a meeting? You can just tell the other members of the meeting, like I just did, what is going on, and then you try to get that person to log in. Basically, you're facilitating. Basically, you're coaching, you're leading. So, like I was saying, a Scrum Master coaches the team by inviting the stakeholder that is not understanding what a retrospective is, or a client who is complaining a lot, to the retrospective. You send an email or something requesting or inviting them to attend a retrospective, or first of all scheduling a meeting for them to understand what a retrospective is, so that you can schedule a 30-minute meeting where you explain to them what a sprint retrospective is all about, what they can do during a sprint retrospective and what they cannot do during a sprint retrospective. You coach them and you extend this hand. You talk about maybe the values, you talk about them being open, you talk about transparency, you talk about a whole lot of stuff to them that will make them see the need to be at that event, that sprint retrospective, of course. So that's one way that the Scrum Master coaches the team. And then the second one we talked about was helping the team to focus on creating high value increments that meets the definition of done. Yes, it has to meet the definition of done before it is released. Okay. Yes, before it is released. So you help the team to stay focused. How can you help the team to stay focused? Somebody would ask. You help the team to stay focused. For example, if a developer is working on a time sensitive project, for example, and something comes up, like, let's say, for example, um, one of your software is expiring, right? One of your software is expiring, right? You and then the developer reaches out to you to say that, hey, our software is expiring, I don't think I can continue to work on this project without this software and stuff like that. And then you ask them, what is it that you can do to make it better, and see if they can figure it out by themselves. See if they would be they'll be able to figure it out by themselves. If they are able to figure it out by themselves, good. If they are not, then you begin to find ways to talk to the technical department with regards to that. And I'm sure that some it depends with the company, or the company you're working with or working for. Yeah, different companies have their own way of doing things. I've heard Scrum Masters who have spoken to the technical department, hey, my developers are unable to do this and do this, can you look into it, and stuff like that. I've heard other Scrum Masters who have said, oh, my developers always handle these technical issues. When they have issues, they know who to call. They just call the technical department and stuff. It varies with companies. Okay. Now, the second thing would be causing the removal of impediments, which I just talked about here right now. So I was just linking it to that. Remove an impediment could be that software that is expiring on the team. An impediment could be a sick team member that calls in sick and they had work to do. What happens to their own work? Is it going to be assigned to some other person, or is it going to sit there and wait until the person heals and get back, or gets back on the team, right? So now the other way would be to ensure that all Scrum events take place and are positive, productive, and kept within the time box. We all know that these Scrum events happens within time box periods that have been assigned to each of these events, right? So the Scrum Master is there to make sure that these events are actually happening. I've had somebody ask me a question like, um, video call. Someone is calling me video call. Sorry. Sorry, I cannot answer the call right now. Anyways, so I've had Scrum Masters who have ensuring, okay, the point was ensuring that the Scrum events take place and are positive, productive, and kept within the time box. It should be positive and it should be productive, right? Because if it's not positive, it's not productive. If your team members get on board and they are fighting each other, that is not positivity. We should remember that we have to be respectful, we have to be open, we have to be committed and stuff like that, so that the project is going to move from one stage to the other until finally the product gets to the hands of the clients, okay, or the final consumers of the product. And then Hmm. The Scrum Master serves the product owner in several ways. Like I said, the Scrum Master serves the product owner, the team, and the organization. And we just talked about the team, and now we are moving to how the Scrum Master serves the product owner, right? This serving the team and first was coaching the team. I talk about coaching the team. I talk about helping the Scrum team to stay focused. I talk about causing the removal of impediments. Scrum Masters do not remove impediments to an extent. I'll put it to an extent because if, let me say, for example, I've had somebody ask me a question like, okay, I've heard people say Scrum Master cause the removal of impediments. But I was thinking that a Scrum Master removes impediments. How can you help me understand the difference? And then I said, to an extent, I answered the question by saying that to an extent, a Scrum Master removes impediment. To an extent, a Scrum Master does not remove impediments. And usually, I would advise that you kind of identify the kind of impediments first before jumping into conclusion or into suggestions on how that impediments can be taken care of, right? And I'll give you example. Let's say that, for example, um, you can have a technical impediment, you can have internal impediment, you can have external impediments. These are things that I'll explain in the days ahead if you stick with me. And if you have not watched, hi dear, thank you for watching. And if you have not, help me share the link if you can. I tried and it's just stressing me out. I could not share it. But I'm like, it's gonna be here for somebody to watch. So an internal impediment could be team members fighting among themselves, conflict. How do you resolve that issue as a scrum master? It is your place because you are there as the facilitator, you are there as the leader, servant leader. Remember, you're putting on, you're a leader, but you're putting on the servant jacket or the servant robe on you or crown on you to lead, knowing that you are not, like, even though the name says master, but you are not really master. In my understanding, I'll say master is just that you have mastered Scrum. That's how I put it. Okay. So an internal impediment that a Scrum Master can get rid of would be two team members not agreeing, one team member not understanding the technicality of the project that they're working on. It is your place to organize a meeting between the product owner and the developer that is not understanding it. And it is your place to be should I say moderator? It is your place to be a facilitator, a leader, to see that things work well. And then if you have two team members that are not agreeing on an issue, maybe one is saying let's use blue, another is saying no, I think it was white and stuff like that, and they are confused, it is your place as a scrum master to try to resolve that conflict between the two team members. Now, a technical impediment would have to result with maybe the machines are not working, maybe the softwares are expiring. That's an impediment. You just realize that, hey, the software is expiring in 2 days and my organization has not done anything about it. How do you help with that as a scrum master on your end? Sometimes when these team members have issues, let me go back to the internal impediment. Sometimes when these team members have issues, it is good for you to talk to them one on one, and then you create room for maybe three of you or two of you to meet, for them to meet and resolve it. And always remind them that the project is not all about them, but it's for the good of the company. And also, to the main focus is to produce or to add value to the business and to the customers. Okay, to the customers and to the business. Either way, that's the main goal. The goal of it all should be to add value to the product and to the business. Okay, so if it's a technical impediment, is how does a scrum master help with removing a technical impediment? A scrum master might say, okay, our application is expiring in the next 2 days. All right, I do not want my developers to use the time that they would have been working on that product to contact technical department or to contact, let's say it was Microsoft a Microsoft software that was expiring or something, right? Or an app or something that they were using was expiring, or a machine malfunction or something. The Scrum Master would say, I will not want my Scrum team to I will not want my Scrum team to be slowed down with this. So I'll go ahead to talk to the technical department and see if there is anything they can do about it. And then the Scrum Master can go ahead to call the technical department and say, hey, our software is expiring. Can you take a look and tell us what's going on? So that is one of the impediments that a Scrum Master can help with. Give it depending on the technicality of the impediment and the organization's should I say house style. Yeah. And then um an external impediment would be, say, even the technical dependent the technical impediment can as well apply to an external impediment. An external impediment could be maybe an extended project manager, or one of the teams that are working externally with your team to produce that product is not understanding the project, is not having the same perception as you guys are. It is your place to create a meeting with them, to talk to them with regards to how um, important that project is. Let them see and understand and come to agree with you that project is as important to you, and you want as important to you as it is to the organization. Okay. So you can schedule a meeting with them, with whoever or whomever is not understanding it, an external stakeholder or somebody or a client, or yeah, schedule a meeting with them to meet the right necessary people to exactly. There is a right, it's a double-sided question. So you want to schedule that meeting with them so that they can meet the right person that will talk to them with regards to that. That is how you help to identify these impediments and help to take care of them. Now, how does a scrum master serve the product owner? The Scrum Master serves the product owner in several ways, including helping find techniques for effective product goal definition and product backlog management. Sometimes these product backlogs are just so complicated and so complex that the team members get on it and they cannot even understand what the product owner had put there, the specifications of what the project was all about. They cannot even understand the goal. During the sprint planning, they are struggling. The Scrum Master can organize a one-on-one meeting with the product owner to talk about ways of breaking down these stories that would give the team a clearer understanding of what they are going to work on, a better specification of the product, and then the goal, and then help to define the goal as well. And then another way that a scrum master helps a product owner would be helping the scrum team to understand the need for clear and concise product backlog or items, just like what I was saying. The scrum master would say, instead of um, writing chairs, tables needed for the event, or chairs, table needed for the event of Mr. and Mrs. B, and food, wine, and this, all of that long journal, the scrum master can step in and tell the product owner that, I think you should write that we are catering for Mr. A and B's event. That's better. That's shorter. Now we know that catering comes with providing chairs, providing this, providing that. Because sometimes when these product owners write this big or huge product backlog, it confuses the team, it confuses the developers, as they don't know where to start and where to begin. They just read it and everyone is confused, right? But writing it clear and concise or precise, exactly straightforward to the point, keeping in mind that um it has to be based on facts. Remember, Scrum is based on imperialism and it has to be based on facts, making sure that the facts are actually included in the story points, right? So that it's not misleading to the developers, right? So a scrum master wants to help the product owner to adjust, to make adjustments to story points that are very big, or features that are very huge and not and misleading, or not being understood by the developers. Another way that a scrum master can help a product owner would be to establish empirical product planning for a complex environment. Like I said, Scrum is based on imperialism. You only work on what you know. You cannot work on what you do not know. You cannot base your judgment based on assumptions. You only work on what you are seeing and what you are doing and what you know that would work, right? So you want to help them to tell them that you have to write your product backlog. A customer, for example, can say, I want a car, and I want that car to be an SUV and it's pink color. And then a product owner goes to the backlog and just says car pink. Right. Now, the developers gets to the backlog. They don't know what type of car it is. It was an SUV, right? So these are some of the things that as a Scrum Master, you should be one or two step ahead all the time, so that you have your A game on and you are able to coach the team, and you're able to direct or lead the team in a way that they always not always they don't always depend on you, but they count on you. Let me put it like that. They don't always depend on you, but they count on you for your good judgments and your ability to nose for impediments and give suggestions towards fixing them. Like I said, some people say a scrum master does not remove impediments per se, but I would say that to an extent, a Scrum Master removes impediments. To an extent, a Scrum Master does not remove impediments. So in this case, you want to remind them that everything they put in the backlog should be based on facts. You cannot just write there car ping. It does not help the developers. What car are the developers making? What a model are they making? What seats are they putting in? Are they putting in leather seats? What quality of leather seats? So you want to help the scrum master, and you do this with do this on a one-on-one meeting that you schedule with the scrum master, to tell them, to help them. Say, hey John, for example, if you were working and John is your product owner, you will say, hey John, can we schedule a meeting for tomorrow? I need to talk to you about the product backlog. And John says, oh, is there anything wrong with the product? Oh no, nothing is wrong with the product backlog, but I just have a few suggestions that I would like to make, if you would like to hear them. That's what you do as a scrum master. And then John says, okay, thank you. Exactly. They help remove impediments, and they help. Some people have that argument that Scrum Master does not remove impediments. Some people have that argument. I've heard so many people have. There was a group that we had that argument, that some were saying yes, some were saying no, that you only just tell them that this is an impediment and let them have to deal with it, while some were saying no, yes, and stuff like that. So there is a debate between a Scrum Master helping to remove impediment and a Scrum Master guiding the team to remove impediment. There's a constant fight or constant argument on that. So, like I was saying, a scrum master helps you want to tell them that you as the scrum master, you want to be two steps ahead. What are the specification of this car that the developers are going to be making? So you schedule that one-on-one meeting with the developers, and you talk to them with the product owner, and you talk to the product owner, and you tell the product owner that, um hi product owner, I think we should meet to talk, because I have a few suggestions to make um that will help the team. I think would help the team. And then when you meet, you say, um I think if we are able to put the model of the car, say it's an SUV, if we are able to put maybe the type of seed, leather seed, pink color, whatever color, and like that, it will be easier. The work will be easier for the developers to just get in there, know exactly what to do, rather than get in there and say car, pink color. What does this mean? We don't even know what car we are making. It is true we are a car company, manufacturing company, but what car is this man or this lady talking about? I can see here car pink, but what car pink? So you want to help the product owner to be able to manage the product backlog correctly. When you see this, you schedule one-on-one meeting with them, identify those places where you think they are lacking, right? Maybe the product owner was rude, is not respectful to the developers, and you notice that that is an impediment and it is your place. That is where I agree with my sister here that a scrum master guides the team and a scrum master helps to remove. That is when you come in and say, hey, product owner, I think instead of using the word stupid, you would have used something else when you were talking to the developer. Words like that are not good and would only cause stress on the team. We are working on a time sensitive project, and it will be good we are all on the same page, and stuff like that. Now, another way that a scrum master can help a product owner would be to facilitate stakeholders collaboration as requested or needed. Some stakeholders are very stubborn and may not understand your rule as a scrum master, or may not even understand their rule when it comes to sprint retrospective. I mean, sprint review. Retrospective is for Scrum Master, developers, and product owners, while the sprint review is for the product owner, the developers, the stakeholders, maybe clients or customers, and then the Scrum Master, like that. So, how do you help facilitate the stakeholders' collaboration as requested? Some stakeholders may be stubborn, may not even listen to the product owners when the product owners are making suggestions, right? It is your place as a Scrum Master to reach out to these stakeholders and create a meeting to talk to them, let them reason with you on ways that they can agree with the product owner, or create a meeting with them where you get to talk about how or what role they can play to make sure that that product adds value to the customer. Let them understand that everything is for the customer. The customer comes first, right? So that's one of the ways that a scrum master can help the product owners by helping them to understand, making them to collaborate with the stakeholders, right? You can also, maybe you have a stakeholder that complains a lot about products whenever it is done and it meets the definition of done, but they are still not satisfied. It is your place as a scrum master to invite that stakeholder to the sprint review. Say, hey, stakeholder, I noticed that you've not been attending our sprint review, and in our in our last meeting, I really wish you were there, because these points that you raised now would have been better if you had attended the sprint review. I don't know if you understand what I mean. You send them that email, and then you create a meeting with them where you get to talk about the sprint review, what the sprint review is all about. You tell them that that is when the product is being demoed, and they need to be there to see it, so that these corrections are made while they are there. It's not as if when everything has been done and it's over, then they come back now to talk, because it only stresses the product owners, and it also stresses the developers who had spent time working on that, and then later on a stakeholder is not understanding anything. So you give them an opportunity, you help them, first of all, explain to them what a sprint review is all about, what is done during a sprint review, and then you give them that invitation and say, our next review is coming up on this time, on this day. I hope to see you there, like that. And then next time they will be there, and things will work fine. Now, four more points and we are done. Now, the Scrum Master serves the organization in several ways. Like I said, the Scrum Master saves the product owners, the Scrum Master saves the team, and then the Scrum Master saves the organization. The Scrum Master serves the product owners by helping them taking care of the backlog, serve the teams by making sure that they are collaborating, they are transparent, they are adapting, they are inspecting, they are meeting the definition of done, they are meeting the team's agreement and everything that has to do with the team. They are making sure that they are having each other's back as a team, and this increment is moving from one stage to another and then finally to the hands of the final consumers. Now, let's see how the Scrum Master serves the organization in several ways. One of them includes leading, training, coaching the organization in the Scrum in its Scrum adoption rather, not adapt, even though, right? You are leading, you are training, you're coaching. Like I said, when you schedule these one-on-one meetings, let's say a developer is not even understanding why the team should even have a scrum master, because some teams have cross-functional members. A developer can still do what a scrum master is doing, right? And he's not understanding why you should be a member on that team, right? It's your place to coach them. And how do you coach them? You create a one-on-one meeting with them where you tell them your rule, like I'm speaking here right now, where you explain your responsibilities to them, why you are a member of that team. You tell them your responsibility. Let them not see you as the bad guy or the enemy, but rather let them accept you and allow you to do that which you have been employed by the organization to do, right? And then when you do this, you are also building trust. Remember to speak with respect. Remember to be open. Remember to be committed. you know when you put all of this into account when you're having a meeting or coaching, right, you will see that at the end of the day, you have not only convinced them that you are capable of doing your duties, but you have also built trust. They can trust you to be open enough to talk to you about things. Okay. Now, another way that a Scrum Master can help a team would be planning and advising Scrum implementation within the organization. Let's say, for example, like I said, a stakeholder just got up. Let me say, for example, there was a time that I did an interview for a job. I'm not going to call the organization because it's a big organization. And these ladies who did that interview for me, apparently they did not even know the responsibility of a scrum master. They just heard that they needed a scrum master. I think I've written this about this on my LinkedIn page where I explain how that whole thing went. I did write something about it on my LinkedIn. Yeah. So they were asking me developers question. And when I told them, they said, talk about yourself. They talk about the position. Even when they were explaining the position, I could tell that that was not for me, right?